A little girl and a fisherman are attacked and killed by a man-eating monster.
All of a sudden, boom, this animal just comes exploding out of the water.
3 brave hunters are determined to stop this serial killer.
Yeah, the lower left, right there.
But this elusive predator may drive them over the edge.
This crocodile can kill anybody at any given time.
Like the beasts that inspired blockbuster horror films, Lake Placid, Rogue, and Primeval. This is Croc Terror, man-eating monster. A prehistoric killing machine is roaming the earth with stealth, strength, and cunning that surpasses the deadliest creatures on the planet. This monster has no rivals, only prey. It's a gigantic predator, maybe the biggest, and it's about to claim its first innocent victim. Bunuan, Philippines. On a warm day, 12-year-old Rowena Romano and her cousin Jennifer Rodrigo are on their way to school. In this remote area, a vast swamp dominates the landscape, the Agusan Marsh. More than 34,000 acres of lush, protected wetland that's home to thousands of species of wildlife and nearly 20,000 people. Here, on nearby Mihaba Lake, local children attend class at a floating school. The Agusan River's system of creeks and canals are their local pathways. Every school day, Rowena and Jennifer travel the canals together.
She was very good. She would follow everything that I taught her.
Not far from the lake, the girls are in no hurry, calmly paddling through a gently flowing stream. Nearby, local fisherman Tata Dagaas is paddling, taking the same route. Protectively, he watches the banks for any sign of danger. He sees nothing. But under the surface, an elusive killer is waiting. Moving silently, it creeps towards the girls. Coming closer and closer. And then it attacks. It's a monster-sized predator with long, piercing teeth. It comes crashing down, and young Rowena is gone. The attack throws her cousin Jennifer into the murky creek.
I was so frightened.
The fisherman, Tata, is stunned but sees the danger.
I pulled her out.
He acts fast.
I paddled quickly out of there.
Jennifer is in shock. She knows her cousin Rowena, her best friend in the world, is gone forever.
The last thing I saw of her was her legs sinking into the water.
In the coming days, over and over, Jennifer relives the attack. The sudden, violent collision. The massive, menacing jaws. And her own escape from death.
We tried to tell people what happened. A crocodile attacked us. No one believed us. They laughed. But Tata insisted.
The attacker's identity, a massive saltwater crocodile. Bigger and meaner than anything anyone has ever seen before.
The saltwater crocodile is the largest of the crocodilians. Pound for pound, it's actually arguably the largest reptile in the world. These animals can reach 21 feet in length and weights well over a ton. They're very aggressive animals. They're considered among crocodiles as being man-eaters. In terms of aggressiveness, the saltwater crocodile makes an alligator look like a kitten.
It was the first time I saw a real crocodile. I'd only ever seen one in books. It looked like the devil, with bumps all over its face.
Uno, dos, tres.
I immediately rushed to Lake Mihaba.
Rowena's family, friends, the entire community launch a search for the girl. They pray she's alive, but fear the worst. Throughout the night, they search far and wide. In an area as big as the Agusan Marsh, there's no telling where the croc may have taken her.
After a large crocodile makes a kill, what they'll do is they'll stash it in the brush or something like that, and they'll try to defend it against other crocodiles. And secondly, crocodiles are very poor at cutting up meat. So if they stash it, the prey item will rot and make it easier for this animal to bite into it and twist and tear off chunks of it and basically feed on it over time.
When we reached Lake Mihaba, I saw the tip of the boat, which was bitten by the crocodile. It was broken.
And then, Rowena's uncle sees something, floating in the lilies.
I saw Rowena's body floating with her head down.
It's horrifying. His young niece has been decapitated.
It was very difficult for me. Rowena was like a daughter to me. I felt so much sadness for Rowena. I pulled her out of the water and saw what happened. In my mind, I could see the attack. I'm so grateful for what Tata did for my daughter Jennifer. If he wasn't there, I don't know if she would have survived.
Rowena's parents are completely crushed. Their little girl was taken from them in the most brutal way imaginable.
He went crazy. We never thought.
I never imagined this would happen.
It's very painful.
We keep thinking about it.
Even when we are eating, we cannot help thinking about her and what happened to her.
Jennifer doesn't like to go back to Lake Mihaba. Sometimes she goes crazy thinking about the attack and how it affected her.
I really miss her. I cry. It's very lonely. We were very close.
Word of Rowena Romano's horrifying, violent death spreads throughout the community. No one's been killed by a crocodile here ever before. Now, everyone wonders who could be next. Here in the Agusan Marsh, everyone is dependent on the surrounding waters. That same water has become a deadly hunting ground where humans are prey.
I stopped fishing for a year. I was so frightened.
1 year. Oh,
I'm still scared to go out fishing.
basig naa pa diha ang buhaya. Di sab ko moadto kung
I won't fish when the water is high or at night.
di ko moadto.
We advise all the residents to temporarily vacate the area.
Mayor Edwin Elord, a skilled mechanical engineer, is responsible for the entire region, both the people and the wildlife.
It's a very tragic happening. I myself wanted to kill that crocodile so that it will not harm other people, but this is the nature of the crocodile. If you go to their territory, maybe you will be attacked by the crocodile.
Then, late one evening, near the area where Rowena Romano was taken, a man named Daniel Oxiou is out on the water fishing. Daniel knows exactly where to go to catch fish. And like most fishermen here, as soon as he reaches the spot, he dives in to set his net. Living in croc-infested waters all his life, he's not afraid. He has no idea a monstrous predator has chosen this spot as its new hunting ground.
Predators will often focus on food items that are regularly available. And, humans are on the menu. Unlike most crocodilians, a saltwater crocodile does not seem to have an innate fear of humans. And so if there's humans in and around the water, it may attract these animals. And if that crocodile is large enough, it may go ahead and press home an attack.
Daniel realizes, too late, he's not alone.
When a crocodile gets a hold of a large prey item, they'll go into a spin or a roll. Some people call it a death roll. And what this does is it disorients the animal, maybe destabilizes it. Sometimes they'll dismember the prey item. Once it gets a prey item and drags it back into the water, that's where the crocodile's in charge.
When we have news about the fisherman, reported fisherman missing, it's a concern about the conflict between the human and the wildlife. It's a very, very big problem on our part.
If Daniel Oxiou was a victim of a crocodile attack, there are only two possibilities. There's more than one man-eater in this marsh. Or the crocodile who killed Rowena may be a serial killer. That won't stop. Then, a fresh sighting raises the stakes even higher. Just a few miles from where Rowena was attacked, eyewitnesses see what they believe is the killer. And it is a monster. Easily overpowering and tearing apart a 1-ton water buffalo, this man-eater appears to be one of the biggest crocodiles anywhere on the planet. Witnesses at the scene marvel at its incredible size. They estimate its head alone is close to 3 feet long.
This animal is a monster. It is unbelievable. It's very difficult to measure a large crocodile. Those of us that work on these animals in the field sometimes come up with estimates of total length by estimating how long the snout is. We get up next to these animals from the side, and you can see the tip of the snout and the back of the cranial table. And so if you get a reasonable estimate of that size of the head, you can then extrapolate to the total length of the animal. And I think the ratio is 6.5 to 1 with the saltwater crocodile.
The killer croc could be 18 feet long, possibly bigger. If it's the same one that killed 12-year-old Rowena Romano, everyone, even a full-grown man, is in danger. Mayor Ilord knows there's almost no way to guarantee the safety of his people, unless the huge animal is apprehended.
Right on that bamboo tree, Daniel Ostero was attacked by a crocodile.
The man for the job is celebrated croc expert, Ronnie Samiller.
The mayor called me up. I think this is the high time for us to capture this large crocodile.
Ronnie's knowledge of crocodile behavior and feeding patterns makes him a perfect fit.
When I called up Ronnie, I told Ronnie that it's a very immediate concern to be addressed, because if we can drag it to a long time, it's possible that there's another person to be harmed by the crocodile, or the crocodile will be attacked also by the residents in the area.
Dura, mga 55 meters kami.
So we have here eyewitnesses with us, telling us that they saw the crocodile a week ago, and the height, the length from the head to the shoulder is more than a meter.
Considering the size and power of this predator and the risk to the community, despite his experience, Ronnie decides he needs backup. He knows techniques for capturing large crocodiles, but this beast is bigger than anything he's ever encountered. He needs the nation's most renowned crocodile hunter, Ernesto Lolong Conyate.
And I called up Lolong. I said to Lolong, Lolong, pack up. You have to come here. He gathered all the traps, and both of us came over here.
Arriving in Bunawan, the team creates a base of operations near the banks of the Agusan Marsh. Swollen from heavy rains, almost the entire swamp is now crocodile territory. And as the waters rise, much of their normal prey, fish, has gone elsewhere. The deadly predators are forced to find other ways to satisfy their hunger.
Saltwater crocodiles are extremely opportunistic predators. It's been argued that they have the most diverse diets of any of the crocodilians, and throughout development they feed on different food items. You know, as hatchlings they eat insects, small fish, frogs. Eventually, when you get full-grown saltwater crocodiles, you know, these animals are often going after large game, and that, you know, that can include humans as well. For as long as humans have been on the planet, we've coexisted with crocodiles, at least in regions where crocodiles exist. Humans have been on the menu the entire time. The prey items that crocodiles are after are made out of flesh and bone, and so are people, and that is perfectly fine with crocodile. Crocodilians are attracted to commotion. You can imagine somebody swimming around the water or washing clothes, whatever, at the water's edge. It generates commotion, and the crocodile is going to pick up on that and often will come to investigate. And they'll often pick up on patterns of when people are coming down to the water, and sometimes they'll set up there. And this, sets up, a recipe for disaster for one of these animals to make an attack.
It's estimated that the Agusan Marsh holds over 5,000 crocodiles. In this vast area, finding the right one may be a huge challenge.
Well, we experience attack aside from here in Agusan Marsh, other parts of the Philippines. Big crocodile, the size would be from 14 to 16 feet long. So I believe that it was that big the time when that crocodile attacked Rowena.
And once they find the croc, they need the perfect plan, the perfect trap. Lolong plans on using a steel cable cinched like a noose. When the croc pulls away, the noose tightens. But crocodiles don't give up without a fight. Their normal method for tearing bits of meat off an animal is called the death roll. By powerfully spinning, they can rip tendons and break bones. So far, the traps Lolong has used have been able to withstand the twisting power of huge crocodiles. Hopefully, this same cable will be strong enough for a monster croc.
Crocodiles, when they bite something, tend to twist sideways, and when they do that, hopefully the noose will slip up behind its jowls, and ideally up over some of the prominences, the scutes on the top of its head. And if it can lock down around those, basically the animal's caught.
Late in the day, facing a nearly impossible task, Ronnie and Lolong head out on the Agusan River to capture a monster. It's a clever and elusive killer, able to hide nearly anywhere. With eyes and nostrils set high on their heads, crocodiles can remain hidden, almost completely submerged. In the daytime, this makes them difficult to spot. So, first, the hunters go deep into the marsh at night, looking for the best evidence of a croc: eye shine.
Take a spotlight and shine it out across a waterway where these animals are, and you'll see their eyes glowing back at you. It's almost demonic. And they're processing it as it goes through their eye, it goes through the retina, and they sense it once. Then it hits the back of the eye where there's a thing called the tapetum lucidum. These are protein mirrors, so to speak. Those mirrors bounce the light back out through the retina one more time. So what little light is available at night, they basically amplify it twofold. And that is why they are such successful predators in complete darkness.
Ronnie and Lolong head toward the scene of the crime, the canal leading to Lake Mahaba, where Rowena was brutally attacked and killed.
Very large crocodiles generally don't travel around too much. What they do is they try to stake out an area that has outstanding resources and access to mates. And that's really the sweet spot for a large crocodile.
Most of these vegetations here been here for a long period of time. Their roots are interlapping already. No human can get through. Only the crocodiles are getting through and hiding, use these areas for their hiding places. So they have this, a very ideal environment for them to grow big.
There, the men set up surveillance, scanning the riverbanks. Ronnie and Lolong know the further apart the eye shine, the bigger the croc.
If we can see a 3 inches wide apart each other, that's a huge crocodile.
You can get a rough estimate of the size of a crocodile simply by the spacing between its eyes. And the accuracy of that's going to improve as you get in closer, but the danger level is going to get elevated as you get closer and closer to that animal.
And then they see it.
We saw the crocodile right there, maybe about 20 meters away.
Its eyeshine is unlike anything they've ever seen before. More than 3 inches apart.
Kuha na, yung bugsay lang, bugsay.
It's gigantic.
Dito, dito. Dito, bugsay lang.
A minimum of 16 feet. Also, the location is near the spot where 12-year-old Rowena Romano was killed. Saltwater crocodiles are extremely territorial. Once a large male chooses its hunting ground, he'll fight off all competitors. A huge croc in this location is likely the one they're looking for. Now, how to catch this massive predator.
Paaloy, Patyaloy. We set up the traps immediately, and the same traps we use to catch 14, 15 to 16 feet long crocodiles back there at the Palawan Crocodile Farming Institute.
The trap's cable noose is connected to a long, thick rope. Suspending it over the water, they skewer a piece of raw chicken, and in the middle, place the bait.
Crocodiles have an excellent sense of smell, and one of the ways we know that is if there's a rotting carcass inland, these animals will often come up into the night and walk maybe a half mile to it. So obviously they can pick up those smells from great distances.
To the predator, the scent of meat will be irresistible. And though crocodiles learn from their mistakes, a wild croc that hasn't encountered a trap like this before is unlikely to suspect this clever trick.
The saltwater crocodile is inherently not afraid of humans, and also they're very inquisitive animals, and they will give it a go with an attack.
With the trap in place, the only thing Ronnie and Lolong can do is wait and hope the killer returns.
When a large crocodile feeds on a small prey item, it can usually digest it in maybe a few days, at most a week. But when it feeds on a very large prey item, such as, say, a water buffalo, where it's consuming a prodigious amount of flesh and bone, it can reside in the stomach for weeks, maybe even as long as a month.
The following evening, they go back down to the river near Mehaba Lake. Lolong's experience hunting crocodiles tells him that patience is key. But he and Ronnie still hope they've caught the killer. But what they find is disappointing and stunning. The monster-sized crocodile has taken the bait and broken the powerful cable noose. It's gotten away. Both of the men are frustrated, but Lolong Konyate takes the setback particularly hard. With so many people counting on him, he's failed.
Ernesto is very serious type man. He really internalized about the project. So that's why when the crocodile destroyed their traps. He felt a lot of pressure because he is one of the top certified trappers of our government.
Determined to learn from the past, Lolong re-examines the trap. It's the same design he's used to catch big crocodiles before. There must be a weak point.
Catching a crocodile requires some very robust equipment, and all kinds of things can go wrong. I've seen these animals thrash and snap cables, and equipment was flying everywhere. It's just explosive. It's unbelievable how powerful some of these creatures can be.
For the hunters, it's a lost opportunity. And now, they no longer have the element of surprise.
Most people don't realize that crocodiles are very intelligent animals, and they're very quick learners. And if they've had a very negative interaction in a certain situation, trying to escape from a noose, it's going to be very difficult to capture that animal again.
Still, Lolong is confident in his trap's design. He's used it countless times before. Maybe it was a fluke. He hopes if he tries again in a different area, the croc will return and strike.
A predator is going to generally choose the path of least resistance if it can get away with it. In the case of a crocodile, why press an attack on a giant water buffalo and risk getting your head kicked in versus going after a piece of meat that's just hanging there?
The hunters head back into the marsh. They sense the monster watching their movements. This is its territory. And now that it's developed a taste for human flesh, even the hunters themselves are potential prey.
Humans are not particularly adept around water. We tend to generate quite a commotion, and that's going to attract crocodiles. We have to be very wary around the water's edge, particularly at dawn and dusk when these animals are feeding. A very large crocodile has very little to fear except, fights with other large crocodiles. If these animals haven't been around people, they're not going to probably view the people as a threat, but rather as something to eat.
Finally, they arrive at what looks like a perfect spot. Near the water's edge, they again hang their trap and wait for signs of the predator.
A crocodile has to be stealthy to be a successful predator. So many of its prey items, be it on land or in water, are swifter than they are and more agile. The crocodile has to take advantage of situations where those animals are in compromising positions. I've seen 17-foot crocodiles wedge their snouts up into the shallows and just a few inches of water, and you couldn't even detect they were there. All of a sudden, boom, this animal just comes exploding out of the water.
And constantly, here in the Agusan Marsh, they watch for deadly ambush tactics that make this man-eating croc so dangerous. More than ever, hunter Ronnie Samila and one of the Philippines' greatest crocodile trappers, Ernesto Lolong Conyate, realize the stakes are high. Once a deadly apex predator understands humans are easy prey, there's little reason to go after normal meals. Another person could be killed at any moment, even the hunters themselves.
Saltwater crocodiles really ramp up their feeding at dawn and dusk. This is when a lot of prey items are coming down to the water's edge. And so people in particular need to avoid being near the water at those times. The general rule with crocodiles is to stay maybe 15 feet away from the water's edge. A crocodile can only lunge out about 2/3 of its body length. Someone setting up a trap has to be very careful because they're going to be coming down into that hitting zone. The best time to set up a trap like that is in the middle of the day when these animals are less likely to be in their feeding mode. But boy, dawn and dusk, getting down into that hitting zone, that's no man's land.
Hunter Lolong Conyate makes sure this time he and his trap will not fail.
The strongest trap we can have along with us, we sit up.
Dato din pikas ba yun?
At base camp, the men wait anxiously. They know the safety of the entire community is in their hands. All of Lolong's years of experience hunting crocodiles have been preparation for this moment. This could be the largest and deadliest crocodile ever captured anywhere on the planet. He can hardly sleep. The following day, they return to the trap. Again, the team is shocked. Lolong's strongest trap, a trap that should have withstood tons of force, is totally destroyed. It's the second time the killer croc has escaped.
We change all those traps we set up before, and we change with a really strong traps. We believe it was a strong traps, but it was again broken.
For the team, it's a devastating blow. With their strongest materials, the monster croc has defeated them. They've let everyone down.
I can see personally that Lolong was under stress because maybe of his health, the absence from his family, and what happened to the traps that you have the setup, the broken traps.
Over the coming days and weeks, Lolong and Ronnie set 4 more traps. Each time, the enormous beast breaks free. The hunters fear this deadly predator may just be unstoppable. It's clear, if they have any hope of catching this killer, they must change their methods. Both of the hunters are frustrated, but the failures are especially devastating to Lolong Kunyate. He's made an entire career hunting these deadly beasts. He's never failed, until now. It's clear the hunters have underestimated the size and power of this creature. It's bigger than anything they've ever seen before. Too big for even their strongest traps.
When one returns and finds their trapping equipment that's worked perfectly fine on other crocodiles completely destroyed, it might tell you that you have something really big on your hands, an extraordinarily big crocodile. There's really no recipe for what kind of equipment you use for a giant crocodile. I've seen situations like this where cable traps, even box traps, have just been completely destroyed by an animal that just was much bigger than we anticipated. And I think that's what's going on here.
Hi, Lolong.
Now, searching for a solution, Ronnie and Lolong meet with Mayor Edwin Elord. They reveal their failures and fear that this beast may be too big to trap. The mayor has his own fears. Based on eyewitness accounts, he believes they may be hunting a true monster.
My first estimate is 20 to 30 feet.
The biggest crocodilians on the planet, salties, can grow truly massive. Skeletal remains show them reaching almost 23 feet. But the largest saltwater crocodile, whose length has been measured and verified, is Cassius. Captured in Australia after a series of boat attacks, this gigantic creature is over 18 feet and 2,000 pounds. If the mayor's estimate is correct, the killer croc Ronnie and Lolong are hunting is much bigger.
So we changed the size of the cable.
But the mayor is a mechanical engineer, and he believes he has a solution. Something more durable for this predator's incredible power and size.
The design of the trap being made by Ronnie's group, the cable is smaller. So it's easier for the crocodile, big crocodile to destroy. It is better now, better trap than before. So hopefully this work destroy this trap.
He also suggests some critical technical improvements that he believes will defeat the crocodile's destructive death roll.
The mayor suggested that we have to increase the size of the cable.
First, we changed the cable to a bigger cable we use, almost a half inch of diameter. And we add swivel.
The principle is about spinning. So when the crocodile spins, also goes along with the cable. But we observe it, that it's only good for a certain size of the crocodile. So we improve the system. We use the swivel, which is a bigger one that can really carry a load, a heavy load in it.
Inspecting the mayor's new design, Ronnie and Lolong see the improved trap's merits. But after so many failed attempts to catch the beast, they wonder whether even this will be enough. After days of hunting and stress, in particular, Lolong Kunyate is showing signs of exhaustion.
I saw Lolong, he was so frustrated. Because the same traps he used capturing crocodiles in the wild before. And this time, did not work.
After 2 weeks of our operation, every night for 2 weeks period, sleepless nights, Lolong have already pressure and disappointed about their traps. Many of their traps was put in the box because it did not working. Always destroyed by the crocodile.
That evening, in preparation for the next big hunt, the men turn in early, hoping to get some rest. Sometime later that night, overwhelmed by failure, the damage to his reputation, crippling fatigue, and the pressure of so many long nights, Ernesto Lolong Konyate's health begins to fade. Complaining of dizziness, he's rushed to the hospital with dangerously high blood pressure. He dies before he can get help. One of the world's most experienced trappers is gone. And without him, the pressure on the remaining hunters is greater than ever. Armed with the mayor's new trap, Ronnie Samila hopes he can still catch the killer before another person dies. One of the planet's biggest monster predators is on the loose.
This animal's a monster. It is unbelievable.
Taking victim after victim, it strikes without warning and disappears.
I've seen 17-foot crocodiles wedge their snouts up into the shallows in just a few inches of water, and you couldn't even detect they were there.
A team of skilled hunters is desperate to stop the killing, but this giant creature may be uncatchable.
The same traps he used capturing crocodiles in the wild before. And this time, did not work.
Like the beasts that inspired blockbuster horror films, Lake Placid, Rogue, and Primeval. This is Croc Terror, man-eating monster. In a remote area of the Philippines, 30,000 acres of protected wetlands called the Agusan Marsh. A young girl named Rowena has been brutally attacked and killed. Her cousin, Jennifer, witnessed the attack, narrowly escaping with her own life she's told everyone of the terrifying monster stalking the swamp. A massive saltwater crocodile.
The saltwater crocodile is the largest of the crocodilians. Pound for pound, it's actually arguably the largest reptile in the world. These animals can reach 21 feet in length and weights well over a ton. They're very aggressive animals. They're considered among crocodiles as being man-eaters. In terms of aggressiveness, the saltwater crocodile makes an alligator look like a kitten.
Ever since the violent killing, the entire community has been living in terror. They depend on the water all around them. Now, that same water is a deadly hunting ground where no one is safe.
I stopped fishing for a year. I was so frightened.
1 year. Oh, nadlok ako gid basta mo.
I'm still scared to go out fishing.
Basig na pa diha ang buhaya. Ug di sab ko moadto kung
I won't fish when the water is high or at night.
di ko moadto. Moadto ko kana mabaw na.
We advise all the residents to temporarily vacate the area.
While Mayor Edwin DeLorde, the man responsible for the region's people and wildlife, weighed his options for dealing with the threat, tragedy struck again. While fishing alone in the marsh, a man disappeared. This fisherman is believed to have been the monster's second victim.
When we have news about the fisherman, reported fisherman missing, I myself wanted to kill that crocodile so that it will not harm other people.
And the stakes have continued to rise. Dozens of witnesses have reported seeing the creature attack a huge water buffalo. By their eyewitness account, this beast is bigger than anything any of them have ever encountered before, up to 18 feet long.
The mayor called me up. I think this is the high time for us to capture this large crocodile.
Realizing something must be done, Mayor DeLorde has brought in 2 hunters to capture the beast. Crocodile expert Ronnie Sumiller and the nation's most acclaimed trapper, Ernesto Lolong Conyate. They both have experience with big crocodiles.
Well, we experience attack aside from here in Agusan Marsh, other parts of the Philippines. Big crocodile. The size would be from 14 to 16 feet long. So I believe that it was that big the time when that crocodile attacked Rowena.
With strong cable nooses, the same ones they've used before to catch giant crocs, the hunters have ventured deep into the monster's domain to set trap after trap. But again and again, the creature has evaded capture, breaking the hunters' toughest equipment. Each time, the enormous beast has stolen the bait and disappeared back into the murky waters, ready to kill again.
There's really no recipe for what kind of equipment you use for a giant crocodile. I've seen situations like this where cable traps, even box traps, have just been completely destroyed by an animal that just was much bigger than we anticipated.
Hi, Lolong.
Fearing more of his people will die, Mayor DeLorde, a skilled mechanical engineer, has designed a new, stronger cable noose. He believes the reinforced trap may finally stop the enormous predator from breaking free.
First, we changed the cable to a bigger cable we use, almost a half inch of diameter. And we add swivel.
The principle is about spinning. So when the crocodile spins, also goes along with the cable. But we observe it, that it's only good for a certain size of the crocodile. So we improved the system. We use the swivel, which is a bigger one that can really carry a load, a heavy load in it.
But just as they prepared to set this new trap, one of the hunters, the most skilled and experienced trapper on the team, overcome by fatigue from long nights of hunting and the stress of repeated failures, has died. Now, everyone mourns the loss of one of the nation's most celebrated hunters.
I did not think about the rescue of the crocodile. I'm worried about what will happen to the family of Lolong.
I knew he was very tired. That's why I told him to come home and get some rest. Someone else can take his place.
No one will miss Lolong more than his wife and 2 young children. To them, beyond his skills as a trapper, he was a devoted husband, father, and friend.
He took care of the needs of the family, and that's the most important thing. I hope even though he's gone, he can continue to guide us.
Now, fellow hunter Ronnie Samilla and Mayor Edwin Elord are on their own. Without Lolong's help, they hope they will have what it takes to catch the monster and end the terror before the next person dies.
The fear of the residents in the area is still there. I, as the leader of this town, have a very big pressure. So we spent already too much money for our operation, almost $500,000 for the operation.
Once again, Ronnie heads out into the swamp, this time with the new, stronger trap. He knows if it fails, there may be no way to catch the epic-sized croc.
This time we will go to Lake Mehaba. This is one of the major lakes in Agusan Marsh. Then we'll go there for maybe 2 hours, roaming around to see crocodile eye shine.
Across the waterway, a dense layer of floating lilies makes the passage nearly impossible.
We were stuck again. This for the second time. After a few minutes, and we have to clean up the propeller again from this water lily.
To free the boat, someone will have to enter the swamp and remove the vegetation. In these croc-infested waters, it's a serious gamble. Melkor, one of Ronnie's assistants, takes on the challenge and dives in.
These are crocodile-infested waters, and that's a very dangerous situation. Saltwater crocodiles are attracted to commotion. That could be a boat motor, a person talking, a person splashing in the water. If your boat were to get stuck or something like that, and you were to jump into the water, it's like, boy, that's you're taking your life into your own hands there. You know, they're in their element at night and in the water. Swimming among crocodiles at night is just suicide.
Even though Melkor, like everyone else here, is accustomed to this danger, there's no way to know if a crocodile is stalking nearby. Every second he spends in the water increases the chances of an attack. With the last of the vegetation removed, Melkor safely returns without incident. And the hunt continues.
Limpyo. So from now on, we will do the paddling.
Now, after nearly 3 weeks and 6 missed captures, the team searches again for the beast. In the dark, with powerful lights, they hope to see eye shine wide enough to indicate a very large reptile.
So this is the area where Rowena was attacked. We stopped here for a while. Quiet, only whisper, no talking. You will see if we can see eye shine. The size of the crocodile and the distance between two eyes, then that's the indicator. That's the crocodile is a big crocodile.
Unseen by the team, Ronnie still knows the beast must be somewhere nearby. He locates a tree branch stretching over the water. From his days of watching Lolong work, he knows it's an ideal spot to set the mayor's new and improved trap.
Very difficult to catch a big crocodile. Hopefully we can catch one.
Now, all he can do is hope the beast will come back and take the bait. The next day, Ronnie Sue Miller flies back to attend Lolong's funeral. Mayor Edwin E. Lord is now left in charge of the hunt. He immediately puts a team of spotters in place to ensure the killer won't escape again.
We have already a lesson that they destroyed the trap, so we put a guard on every trap to observe the trap with a handheld radio.
Break. Brabuan, Nubaira.
Then, a call comes in.
Brabuan, in traffic.
One of the mayor's spotters says the new trap has caught something. Something huge.
Okay, copy.
On that night, Ronnie is in Palawan because it's a schedule of the burial of Lolong, Ernesto Cunyati.
The mayor and his team race to the scene, and what they see is incredible. Now, everyone can see for themselves. They've captured a monster. It's easily more than 18 feet long, with jaws close to 2 feet wide and nearly 3-inch teeth. This huge animal fits the description of eyewitnesses Jennifer Rodrigo and Tata Daga As.
Once a saltwater crocodile reaches sizes of 18 feet or more, that is a tough animal. I mean, it's probably lived a rough and tumble life, and it's still living a rough and tumble life. It's a powerful, powerful individual among crocodiles.
The entire community is stunned to think this beast lived alongside them in the Agusan Marsh. It could have easily devoured any one of them. Now that it's been captured, many consider killing it. Revenge for the deaths of 2 innocent people. Mayor Edwin Lord disagrees. He urges his community to instead preserve the man-eater and transport it out of the swamp to a wildlife sanctuary. He even names the beast Lolong, after Lolong Kunyate, the man who died trying to catch it.
We always emphasize that we rescued Lolong, not captured, because of our intention to protect Lolong. You know, God created this world, and we have a specific area to be our place to live. So because of this area was made by God for the habitat of a wildlife, not only Lolong and other species. But because of the development of our municipality, this area was reached by the development and the human enter this area. So we are the intruder of their area.
In the night, hundreds of people gather to see the monster. Everyone marvels at its size. The creature's powerful jaws, its greatest weapons, are cinched tight with ropes. The restraints make some people dangerously bold.
Some might assume that when a crocodile's snout is taped up that it's safe to handle, and I'll tell you that's not the case. A really big crocodile, that head weighs 100 pounds, and that neck is extremely powerful, and they'll swat side to side in defense. You could break your leg. I've seen a person hit in the face when one of these animals popped up in defense as well, so you really got to watch out for the hitting zone around these animals.
Out here in the marsh, the situation could get out of hand. And trekking across 4.5 miles of rough terrain with this massive beast is a monstrous task.
Moving a large crocodile is a monumental task in any situation. Trying to do it across a swamp that's just insane. I wouldn't want any part of that. I'd rather haul a stone up the pyramids for doing that.
And near the end of this epic journey through the swamp, they'll face an even bigger final obstacle. A 60-foot wide creek with nothing but a rickety bridge. Only after conquering both of these mammoth challenges can the crocodile be taken to its ultimate destination. A nature park in Bunawong, the monster's new home. To aid in transporting the enormous animal over this swampy vegetation, they load the Croc onto an old yet sturdy rice cart.
There's a cart of a farmer there. I asked to borrow the cart.
Then, in the middle of the night, a small army of volunteers begins to pull. Even with the help of the rice cart, the initial steps prove nearly impossible. All the while, at any moment, the monster, still alive and awake, could spring to life. Even firmly tied, a crocodile this size can do serious damage to anyone nearby.
This crocodile is really a threat to them, considering its size. The size can kill anybody at any given time.
Just because a large crocodile is restrained doesn't mean it's safe. I mean, even a taped crocodile, can hurt you. swinging that head around. It's like a gigantic club. It weighs like 100-some pounds, plus that tail can knock you over.
Moving inch by inch, the journey seems endless. It's an enormous struggle to keep pulling. Every bump on the path is a painful obstacle. Each time they stop, a team works as fast as they can to clear the path and continue moving forward. Then, just a few yards further through the swamp, and the wheels get stuck again. Hours and hours of pulling, stopping, and starting test the endurance of even the toughest among them. But their will to bring the monster to town is stronger than their urge to give up. Time and again, they find a way to move forward. And then, incredibly, after 7 long hours, they pull the beast inside the town's border. And for a few moments, rest. The next day, as dawn breaks, they face their final obstacle. The wide creek, 60 feet across. There's just a tiny footbridge, nothing but a series of narrow wooden planks and rails. It's not nearly strong enough to hold the weight of the monster and the volunteers. They need another solution. While Mayor Lord uses his mechanical engineering know-how to consider a plan, a bigger and bigger crowd gathers around the bound and seemingly defenseless creature. Everyone wants to see the monster that's caused so much terror.
After 7 hours, plenty of people going to the area wanted to see the trapped crocodile.
Men, women, even small children come to touch the mammoth beast.
There have been persons missing, but we were never sure that they were eaten. But now we're sure. Now that we've seen this, we know that they were eaten.
It seems like they have this incredible creature under control.
The thousands of people, the area of the barangay was full of people. We cannot cordon the area because of plenty of people going to the area. We did not notice one of the spectators is removing the cover of the eye of Lolong.
And then all hell breaks loose. Now, twisting its enormous body, it crushes the rugged rice cart.
With crocodiles, it's really dangerous when they're thrashing about. That's their hitting zone. That's their defensive move, and that's also what they use to seize prey. You're dealing with, a 100-pound head there, and it's mostly just skin and bone, and you don't want to get hit by that. It's like getting hit by a dump truck.
Terrified, everyone crosses the creek in a panic. The fragile footbridge seems like it's going to collapse.
All people is running away. One of the cameraman of our local TV station was going up on the tree.
And then, after once again proving its strength, the creature settles down. Everyone now knows this deceptively calm, motionless state is not to be trusted. Before anyone gets hurt, including the crocodile, they need to get this creature across the creek and bring it to its new home, a nature park in Bunawan. Under the direction of Mayor Ilord, there's a new plan. The team will build a raft and float the enormous crocodile across the creek.
These animals are not comfortable out of the water. You know, they're ectothermal animals, so they need water to thermoregulate. So, and then they get stressed out. I mean, they get lactic acid buildup from struggling. Also, they can get injured while they're struggling. It's a restrained crocodile. I mean, even a crocodile could drown. I worry about the restraints. This animal could easily get loose, either partially or fully. And I'll tell you, that crocodile's not going to be in a particularly good mood.
Using ropes on either side of the creek, slowly, the volunteers move the massive creature towards the water's edge. And the bound monster plunges and sinks below. Under the weight of the enormous crocodile, the raft looks like it may split apart. In the water completely submerged, the crocodile could break free.
Given the carnage that this animal inflicted on the cart, I'm even more worried about this raft. If this animal explodes, this is going to destroy this vessel. A crocodile like that is like nature's wrecking machine.
But the raft holds, and the crocodile is still captive. With the beast safely on the other side of the river, now the mayor wants to know for sure if this crocodile is the man-eater that's been killing his people. The only way to find out is to pump its stomach and look for human remains.
One of the ways to figure out what a crocodile has been eating is called stomach flushing. We'll take a PVC pipe and we'll lubricate it, shove it down the gullet of the animal, and then we'll pump water in there. And what happens is the food items down the stomach get extruded, and we can go through those and figure out what it had actually eaten. In the case of an animal that's thought to be a so-called man-eater or human-eater, we can go through those remains and see if we find evidence that it had actually attacked a human or at least fed upon a human. Remains of a large prey item, such as a human, will reside in the stomach of a crocodile for a period of several weeks. And so if someone were to open that stomach or do a stomach pumping or flushing, within a few weeks of when an attack is thought to have occurred, one could tell whether or not it had actually eaten a human.
Recently returned crocodile hunter Ronnie Samilla oversees the dangerous procedure. Up close, he's stunned to see how big a reptile it really is.
And finally, I got in this place and I saw the crocodile with my two eyes that it was really a big crocodile, and I congratulated the mayor for that. I was so amazed to see that the crocodile they have captured, really a big one. A huge, huge crocodile that I have never seen in my entire 20 years doing trapping in the wild.
To hold a creature this massive and keep it from harming itself or people nearby, a team of men builds a wooden retaining crate. Even this simple task is an enormous operation. To place the crocodile safely inside, they must use a crane. Now, fully contained, Ronnie begins a procedure known as gastric lavage. They'll pump water into the crocodile's stomach, forcing it to regurgitate anything inside. First, though, in order to insert the hose and open its massive jaws, they have no choice but to unbind the crocodile's muzzle.
Crocodilians can generate prodigious bite forces, and in the case of the saltwater crocodile, we registered the highest bite force ever measured for any living animal, and that was 3,700 pounds. It's like dropping a small car on top of those jaws. The secret to crocodilians' amazing bite forces comes down to the jaw-closing muscles, and not only their leverage, but also their physiology. And one muscle in particular they have in their jaws has all the fibers coming in from the side around a central tendon, which allows them to pack as much punches as possible within that package. That, combined with the tips of their teeth, allowed them to generate bite pressures as high as 350,000 pounds per square inch. And the hundreds of thousands of pounds per square inch that crocodiles could generate allow them to literally explode bones. In fact, I've seen crocodilians biting down on the femora of deer, and when they impacted it, the bone would just literally explode everywhere like a china cup.
The men carefully insert a large pipe into the predator's throat. But as they pour water inside, it reacts violently. The creature thrashes its massive head, snapping its jaws with enough force to easily crush bones.
If you touch just the sides of their jaws or a tooth, it just sets off this explosive reaction. They'll slam their jaws shut and try to seize whatever it is that just touched them. It's also how they seize prey, say when they bump into a fish or something like that. It's just blinding. It's just how quickly this occurs.
And then they try again. This time, it works. As the creature's stomach contents pour onto the ground, everyone watches. But there's nothing. No human remains.
The pH of a crocodilian's stomach is extremely low, and this allows them to digest not only flesh, but also bone. Eventually, it's going to dissolve everything, and there's going to be nothing left. So I think it'd be very unlikely to recover, say, human remains from a stomach of a crocodile after a period of 3 weeks, maybe a month. I'm not saying that this crocodile hadn't killed people in its past. We just can't say, but it certainly was capable of it.
Is this the killer? The killer of young Rowena Romano in the Fisherman, Daniel Oxterio? Have the bodies simply been digested? Or even more incredibly, Could there be an even bigger man-eating crocodile still out there? For now, crocodile hunter Ronnie Samilla and Mayor Edwin Elord focus on getting Lolong safely to its new home. Nearly 24 hours after the capture, the monster is loaded onto a truck. And a motorcade guides it to the Bunuan Eco Park and Wildlife Reservation Center. After a brutal 4.5-mile journey through the swamp, a dangerous trip across a 60-foot wide creek, and a 5-mile truck ride through the heart of town, Lolong is finally released into his new enclosure. The next day, Ronnie Samilla and Mayor Edwin Elord return to visit the creature. They want to know just how big this monster really is.
Me and the mayor, we will measure this crocodile. We will not do sedation because it's dangerous to the health of the animals. So we will do it while the animal is awake. Because to sedate the animal, it's quite dangerous. And now we are spraying him water, just to relax him. Okay, ready? Ready. The tip measure is placed on the tip of the pole and hang it about 1 foot above the head of the crocodile, just to make sure that it's aligned to the end nose, the end snout of the crocodile, and the other end will be on the end of the tail.
Even using a pole to hold the measuring tape, it's dangerous to stand so close to such a massive reptile.
These animals will still do defensive strikes side to side, but also up and down. And it's a common mistake, when handling these animals is that people get too close over the top of their heads. They'll pop their head up in defense and basically use their snout as a battering ram. I saw a person one time that was hit in the face by a very large crocodile, and broke their nose and appeared to have been knocked out. It was as if this person had been hit in the face with a 2x4.
The length is 20.3 feet.
20.3 feet. It's a record breaker. Lolong is the world's largest captive crocodile.
With our measurement with Ronnie, now we can prove to the world that Lolong is the biggest crocodile in the world.
It's mind-boggling at how big it is. And there were rumors back in the day of saltwater crocodiles reaching 23 feet in length. This one's showing that that's quite feasible, and it's only one animal.
Still, no one knows for sure if this monster is the one that killed young Rowena Romano.
We are grateful that at last we caught one, but there are more remaining. This is smaller than the big one out there.
I think this is small. The one who witnessed the first sighting, he says that one was bigger than this. It was longer.
I don't doubt there's others out there. I think people need to realize that, we had the Endangered Species Act of 1973. CITES came in 1975, where we started, protecting these animals and really doing a better job of regulating the trade of endangered species. And so, after 40-some years, all of a sudden you're going to get full-size crocodiles, and these animals are truly achieving their potential for size.
Yet to this day, no one else here has died in the jaws of a crocodile. Life in the Agusan Marsh has returned almost to normal. For the safety of people living near the water, a few basic precautions seem to be working.
There's an adjustment of the human not to have any activity during nighttime, because we can give that time to the crocodile. Nighttime is the time when the crocodile, like Lolong, is active. So after that time, there's no attack in our place. So it's a very simple solution that the human and the wildlife will coexist in the same area.
Two innocent victims. And a hunter driven over the edge in pursuit of the killer. And no one knows for sure if the real monster is still out there, roaming the swamp, waiting for another chance to take human prey. The real Croc Terror.